All right. So, note for a question on guard jumps. The question was, how do you bind when you're left-handed? So we have two approaches we're going to have to focus on this. One is binding against the lefty, and the other one is binding as a lefty. So I'm going to start binding as a lefty. I'm going to get an angle with me, Jibs. Now, most fighters end up being right-handed. It's just a statistical thing, so most left-handers end up fighting right-handers. Can you use a bind against a right-handed fighter? And like we discussed, everything's possible, but how do you execute these things? Now, watch. Righty, righty, right? I want you always out of range, always out of range. We have limited range here, so I'm going to use what we got. We're at about tip to tip. When I get that step in, I get that initial gain, extend, lunge. And notice I'm forcing his sword outside of my body. So when I do the exact same move as a left-hander, right? We're tip to tip. Now I'm not going to adjust anything for this move. I step in and come around trying to get this gain, extend, and go. Now this looks good, except if Jubei extends his arm, he comes right over my blade, right? So it cannot be executed in the exact same way. Now you can use a very similar one, but it's closer to a gain. It's like a force 4, that's how I think of it on guard. There again, beginning out of range, I'm going to step in, but as I do, I get the initial gain here. If my opponent lets me get this far, I can extend, and if Jubei extends his sword, I'm in a better spot, he's in a worse spot, because again, I forced him outside of my body, right? But in order to do it on my strong side, for example, can this be done on a strong side? This is the same way you have to guard your strong side arm. Hold on, let me finish, okay? And then I'll sword fight with you too. Keep an eye on her.
Ripley, honey, come see Mama.
We'll sword fight after this, baby, I promise. Okay? Okay, on guard. So if we're in a get a good on guard, I'm going to adjust real quick. You ready? Remember, that alignment, right there. So it all goes from tip to elbow, right? There you go. Now Jubei's in a good guard. If I'm right-handed and I throw at his arm, oh, let's adjust you. It's awkward because your feet aren't right, but remember it sits right about there, right? Bam, there. Now again, if we're fighting, I lunge at Jubei's arm, I'm getting forced out, right? If I'm a lefty and I make that same attack, I actually am coming in on his arm. So as a right-hander defending or as a left-hander defending against that same shot, that strong side arm shot, we have to modify this. And the easiest modification, the quickest reaction you can make is coming into a 3 or a modified 3. So Jubs, ready? If Jubs lunges to hit me in the arm, he will make it. He will make that shot, right? Recover? So in order to guard against that, even from my good guard, when Jubs lunges at my arm, I have to 3. Raising my tip, come back, slow extend. Raising my tip is enough. Now my arm comes out slightly, but that's just to match the angle, right? I'm not trying to force it out. This isn't an intentional exaggerated movement. It's just lifting the tip, and you can see everything has to align with that. So that's when my arm moves. So when he lunges at my arm, oh, dead baby. When he lunges at my arm, I 3 from here.
An email is here!
Right? Can I make that into a bind? On guard. So, aggressive as a 3, right? Aggressive as a lefty using a 3. So again, I'm outside of his arm. As I step in and get that initial gain, and this can be used 2 ways. 1, to provoke him to thrust. If he thrusts, he'll get me. So I know this, right? So on guard. I come in on that inside, he makes that shot, I rotate up, and I can go through. Try not to hit your roof. Number 2, he doesn't react. Because some people are like, what are you going to do? And if he doesn't react, then you get options on guard. I'm going to do this as a lefty, which is not my thing, but I'm going to show you how you would be the theme, right? Theoretically, yes. So, from, again, I'm out of range, right? I step into range, but I'm going for that lockout. My offhand is coming under, so if he disengages, I'll be in that arc, right? So I'm making that, on guard, making that from the outside, correct? To the inside, but I'm rotating up to a 3, bringing my off arm in, getting ready for the stab. Got it? That's a bind in left using a 3 over a 6 because you can't get that good 6 lunge. You have to get that 3 lunge. It has to modify to a 3. So the way we use defending that, coming to a 3 to not get hit, stepping into a 3 to get the hit, is how you both use it aggressively and defensively versus or being a left-handed fighter. The concept doesn't change. We're still using leverage, right? But we have to modify for angle. The angle has changed. It's coming in this way, it's coming in this way. It changes how you have to guard, right? Think that answers it. If you need more on that, let me know because that's all I can think of on that one. Thank you, Jobs. Everyone give Jobs a big thank you.
Hey! I want the We're the Champions theme playing as I dramatically walk off.
Well, that's not dramatic enough. You got a dramatic walk off. We are the champions. Yay! Alright, so there's my left-handed deal for that one. And today we're going to focus on something that both answers a question and is a new drill we should be working on, right? And this comes from how we practice and other issues, we'll do something like this. Alright, it's on guard, and then you're like, 4, 5, lunge, recover, and then you stop. You go through these series of motions, and you have stops in between. This stop that we do, and this is not unique, all fighters do this to some extent, right? This stop that we do, this hesitation, this I've completed a movement, and now I don't need to do anything else that happens in our minds, right? We're going to call this in-between time, because that's how it was taught to me. In-between time, right? This time that we lose between our actions, in-between time, is something we want to work on removing. I know very few fighters who have eliminated it entirely. I don't know anyone who's eliminated it entirely, but there are ways to significantly reduce how much you have, right? So for today's drill, what we're going to focus on is not stopping. This is one way to build that, okay? So when I say not stopping, what I mean is we're going to have a series of actions that ends with us out of range. So we'll be, for example, out of range and are good on guard. And then we're going to have advance, 4, lunge, parry, recover, retreat. But it's not advance, 4, lunge, parry, recover, retreat. That's not what you want to do. What you want to think is getting all of your motions down and then getting out. Okay? So for example, we have, and now I'm out of range. If I stop once I'm out of range, they're not going to hit you out of range. That's the point of getting out of range, right? But you have to execute all your moves in one motion, not stopping until you are out of range. Got it? And I mean, this is kind of good advice for any sword fight you're ever in. If you hesitate, if you stop moving, if you aren't going anymore, if your body has hit a static position, bam, you are very likely to get stabbed if you are in range. So make sure when you're doing these practices to try to think at least to get out of range before you stop moving. So, let's mime the bind we were talking about. For my lefties, you can go to 3. For my righties, we'll just use 6. Breaking it down slow. I'm out of range. I enter range. I circle into my bind, right? Bind in 6. Extend for the lunge. Parry, recover, retreat. That's the motion. But now we're going to try to bleed it all together. And if you need to repeat this, pause, or whatever, go back, do that. But think about this. I'm out of range, now I'm going to bleed it all together. Stepping in with the gain, the lunge, the parry, the recover, and I'm out. Now I've got limited room, right? So I've got to recover a little different That's your space. This will happen to you in a real fight. You'll be in a fighting area that you're limited, where you can't retreat the way you want to, or some such. So remember, don't be afraid if you have to modify, adjust in this situation. So one more like that, just so we got the idea. Boom, lunge, parry, recover, out. Now we're going to do it with a starting close with a retreat, stop thrust, retreat again. Got it? Retreat, parry. So we're going to be in our on guard. We're going to retreat into a parry, and whatever parry you want, right? So I'll just use 7 for now because I've been using 4 and 6 a lot. So we retreat 7, right? Counter lunge, and then we retreat again. And escape. Got it? So starting up close. Now we're going to make it all one motion. Retreat, parry, lunge, parry, recover, out. Right?
I'm coming, hun.
Making that continuous motion. Let's try it with a series, our bread and butter parries. Let's use our bread and butter parries as a series. Lunge, recover, out. I don't know, I'm not going to have quite enough room to make it ideal. We're going to do our best, okay? So starting up close, and I'm going to start in a high guard because my couch is in the way, right? We'll go 4, 6, 7, 5, right? Crossbody, low, high. It's a good set anyway. At the end of our high, we'll return to a lunge. At the end of our lunge, we'll recover out as we parry and leave range. Got it? And you might notice, like some of these times when I'm leaving range, I'm coming into my lunge, right? I'm getting my initial parry, and then I'm crossing out with my leg. Because I
female is here!
I run. I know I've completed my set, now I'm trying to get out of range. Sword fighting is flexible, right? This is a acceptable option. Don't feel like the moveset you're learning should constrain you to the moveset. If your body feels more comfortable, or if you recognize that you'll gain an advantage by doing something because it matches your body archetype better, try it. If it works, stick with it. If it gets stuffed, then you realize that it might have felt good, but it didn't provide you the cover you needed, right? Always change your mind in the light of new information. Okay, let's try our set and then we'll take a break and do more on the morrow. Oh yeah, I gotta get close, right? So we're in our good guard, and nice and slow, 4, 6, 7, 5, lunge, parry, recover, out. Got it? Now we're going to try, this isn't a speed game. This is a not stopping between my motions game. Got it? From my on guard, 4, 6, 7, 5, lunge, recover, out. Got it? Let's go. 4, 6, 5, 7. I went the wrong way, sorry. Again. 4, 6, 7, 5, lunge, parry, recover, out. I have that stop in between my steps to maintain my balance, and we'll slowly work on getting less of it, but you know, there's always going to be a moment where motion is moving in 2 directions, and you're gonna have that slow moment. And remember that about your opponents, you can catch them in that. But let's do it again. 4, 6, 7, 5. Yeah, sorry. Still working through the motion in my head too. 4, 6, 7, 5, lunge, parry, recover, out. And I ran out of room. I feel myself touch the weight. I'm out of room. I'm gonna sit there and try to fight from there if I have to. But think about that, getting that fluidity of, I make my first parry, I make my second, I keep going, I have to recover. Nothing makes me stop what I'm doing except tripping on, baby toys, because I don't want to be caught in range not moving. The more you are able to maintain that movement, the more you're able to react. So try practicing that with some of your drills. See if that helps break down that in-between time. Let me know if you got any comments. Always makes these easier on me.